Look up. Okay, yeah, that's much better. So they can see our papers and everything.
Okay,
like the
this?
board.
Can you see down here?
I cannot see down there, but I see a little pink there, but it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're good. Okay. All right. Cool beans. Oh. Okay, it would help if I would lift up the screen where we belong. All right. Make sure I'm not super greasy. All right.
Let's fucking do the damn thing. I'm gonna be honest with you.
With me?
I'm about 45 minutes of good content.
Listen, I don't give a fuck. You better bring the whole fucking hour or whatever the fuck we got.
No.
Nobody told you to have a fucking full-time job, bitch.
I know, it fucking sucks.
2 jobs.
I'm trying to pay for this stupid trip and for this house. They're trying to raise my taxes again. It's a travesty.
Ow. Nah, let's push that back.
About to have to move in with you.
I charge $1,500 a month.
God damn. So I just have to pay your whole fucking mortgage?
Pretty much. That's right,
I will
bitch.
stay in my own house. Ah! Fuck.
I don't know why you keep thinking that that's not
I
right.
know. You know, I just like refuse to get a new pair until we hit 100,000 on TikTok. I'm gonna ride with these till the wheels fall off. Oh, son of a bitch.
Maybe when my case is all over, I'll buy some more.
Well, that would be nice. When you win. Someone was asking. Oh, Will. Charlie Brown again. He was like, tell her I said hi. He was asking about you.
Hey, Charlie. Okay. I don't care how I look.
God damn.
Shit. It's fucking fuckface.
This is an audio medium. They don't need to know how you look.
No.
Whose bed have your boots been under?
Why is someone line fucking cut grass right now? I swear I hate this neighborhood. You heard me cutting grass last night. You stupid ass should have did that shit last night. You fuck bitch.
Oh, I can't get my glasses on.
I can't get my glasses on.
Okay. Slap me.
I'm not dealing with you today. I'm not gonna do that.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, lavender leather. The big black bug bit the big black bear, made the big black bear bleed blood. Ma, ma, ma.
Why is that your ritual? Like, I genuinely want to
Warms up the
understand.
folks.
As if you sound any different when before I press
I do.
the record
Me,
button.
me, 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 me.
Okay.
No, no, no. No, 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 no. What she do?
From the diaphragm. I cannot.
No, 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 no.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Face Off with Fleming and Fowler. We are happy to have y'all back with us one more time.
One more again.
One more again. How much you eat this past week?
Delightful. It was
Ooh, that's
Fiesta in San Antonio.
That's right. Fiesta.
My personal favorite holiday. If you don't know, it's Mexican Mardi Gras.
Oh, is that what it is?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, I've never been to the event. So.
City shuts down. People get drunk. There's confetti.
Yeah, so you didn't go to work on Friday.
I sure didn't
You
because
bitch.
that's Battle Flowers Day, and it's what I deserve as a citizen of this city. to be off. Everyone's off.
I saw your Instagram story. I was like, this bitch.
I sure was that. Drinking at a parade at 9 a.m. When I didn't realize that it wasn't a national holiday, swear to God, until I graduated, moved to Austin.
Really?
And I was like, yeah, I won't, like, what are we going to do Friday? And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, we're off on Friday of Battle of Flowers. They said, you're not off on Friday of Battle of Flowers. That's San Antonio. Flabbergasted.
I didn't know about Fiesta until I moved here. And when I came to look for an apartment, before I moved here, I came during Fiesta weekend. Worst weekend I could have ever came to. And I was just like, I don't know that I want to move to this city. They're like, no, it's just like this for this week. Next week it's going to be nice and calm.
It is a drunken, just
the traffic is bad.
Traffic is awful.
Yeah, definitely.
The good and bad part is that you will literally see everyone you know.
Oh, really?
They are all down there doing Fiesta. And it's usually, so April in Texas is like nasty, hot, humid. We're talking like 90 plus degrees with 100% humidity. And this week, for some reason,
it was beautiful.
We got a cool breeze.
Yeah.
We had some rain. It cooled everything off, but it wasn't raining at night very much. So that was awesome. I got my chicken on a stick.
Oh, cool.
That's my yearly fave.
Yeah. Do they not have a food truck that you can just go to randomly, or it just tastes better during Fiesta?
It just tastes better during Fiesta.
Got it.
Have you ever been to Nyosa?
No. What is Nyosa?
Nyosa is the like week-long festival night in Old San Antonio. And they close down like La Vita, which is part of downtown, but every little section is kind of like a different quote-unquote country. So there's like Mexican food. There's like a little frontier section. Don't know what country that is. There's Maintown, USA. Maybe they're not countries. They're just like vibes.
Could be.
There's an Irish place. There's a German beer pavilion, and you just go place to place and get food and get drunk.
So it's a small world after all.
Basically, with less racism, more minorities, and alcohol.
I love that.
So
if y'all hear something in the background, one of my neighbors is cutting grass. I swear, it's like dead in the heat of the day, and they want to fucking cut grass. Anyway, neither here nor there.
I don't know what would possess me to cut my own. I've never cut my own grass before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you just got it like that, just a ball of. You guys were in a recession, right?
Listen. Well, here's my thing about employing people, is then I feel bad if I stop because I'm like, well, they count on this money. Because I have them do it all the time.
I can guarantee you they're going to pick up another person.
No.
Who's probably going to tip them better. Yeah, definitely.
The audacity. Yeah, no, I've never cut my own grass. I have a lady who does it. She does it really well. I play to my strengths. I used to
cut my own grass when I first bought my house, and then I hired a guy, and he sucked. And so I would always have to go behind him, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay you and then have to go behind you.
Yeah.
So then I started doing it myself again, but then during COVID, my next door neighbor, he has his own landscaping business, and so I had him cutting it. Did I like the way he cut my grass? Not necessarily, but I didn't have to do it. So I was like, you know what? Nobody's going outside and really see my yard, so I don't really care right now. Because he used a riding lawnmower. I just feel like you should just, like, self-propel lawnmower over my stuff.
So maybe if I cared more about my lawn, I'd do my own grass, is what you're saying.
Very true. Very true. I don't care about the back, so the back is always overgrown. But, you know, that's the thing out there.
How was your week?
My week was actually pretty good. Again, back at the bedside, y'all gonna hear this series for a little bit. Y'all gonna hear a lot of stories, unfortunately. And I just realized that my sense of smell is not what it used to be. I am more in a bad way. I am more nauseous now than I have ever been in my career.
That time off.
I did, and I got, I didn't get accustomed to every smell. And so now this past week I had a patient with C. diff, which is like basically like diarrhea all the time, right? And then I had every patient I had yesterday or this past week just needed to shit. And I was just like, why do you have to poop when therapy is here?
You get excited.
It was just, but the thing is, because I used to be a CNA, I can't just delegate that to the nurse and say, hey, your patient is pooped. Because I won't ever do that anyway. Because I'm like, if that were me laying in that bed, or that were my family member laying in that bed, you as a healthcare clinician, I don't care what your title is, that is cleaning poop is a part of your job description. And so, like, everybody just had to poop, and it was just like the smells and the look. And I was just like, Lord Jesus, did I make the right decision? So,
welcome back.
I had to just remember, I'm here for the benefits. I'm only here for the benefits. That's it.
What a job.
It's not all that great, but I did cut my grass. Had to go to the dealership earlier. Did not buy a new car. That's not the purpose I went for an oil change, because I refuse to buy another car in this economy.
Dude,
interest rates are insane. Car payments, like, what happened to the $250 car payments? They don't exist anymore. Even with good credit, you're paying like $400 or $500 for a basic like Honda Civic.
Me and this Nissan will be rocking till the wheels fall off.
Me and my Honda gonna be riding out. I'm telling you, I got some stuff fixed on my car over the weekend, and I'm not turning back.
Yeah.
It's a Honda. It should last me.
Car payments don't sit right with my soul.
Knock on wood. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
Not me either.
It doesn't feel good.
No, definitely not. But other than that, my week was really great. I'll tell you, anything else we need to talk about before we get into it?
No, let's dive. Oh, no, I'm not saying
No, we're not. We don't support rapists on this, alleged rapists on this podcast. Anyway, I'll tell you what else is interesting. Death is very interesting, unfortunately.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
Death has been succumbing some people in Hollywood.
People have succumbed to death.
What did I say?
You said death has been succumbing.
Oh, people have been succumbing to death.
I just don't want people to...
Nobody comes here for our grammar. Nobody comes here for that. Like,
it's a big grammar podcast.
I mean, it depends on what we're talking about. Y'all know celebrities die in threes, right? So this week we got hit with a doozy, man. First of all, Harry Belafonte, amazing, beautiful man, civil rights activist, and most popular song, Dale. They like come and me.
You need to watch the Sidney Poitier documentary on Apple TV because it's them together.
Their bromance was beautiful.
Yeah.
Even his relationship with Harry Belafonte's relationship with Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was absolutely beautiful. And to see, like, there's a very famous picture of him crying at Martin Luther King's funeral, and Coretta Scott King in the background, or kind of like blurred in the background, and how he looked after her even after his death. I mean, we are losing our pillars left and right. I think he was 92, I want to say. So he lived a full life, I feel like, but at the same time, death is still hard. Then we got hit with another doozy. Y'all. Jerry Springer.
You are not the father.
Okay, that's not him. That's definitely Maury Povich. That was the most Gen Z answer you could have ever said in your life.
What did Jerry Springer say?
He didn't say it. He said,
Jerry.
Thank you.
Jerry.
And at the very end, he always said, take care of yourself and each other. That was his little sign off.
That's nice.
I cannot believe you confused Jerry Springer and Maury Povich together.
Listen, daytime TV was not.
Okay, let me ask you this question. So, because Jerry Springer was like my era, right? When you were sick from school or you faked like you were sick, what TV shows did you watch?
Great question.
Did you ever call in? I'm not calling, but
Oh no!
Fake like you were
when
sick?
I was little,
you can't even get it out.
I had a single mom, so it was like if my brother was sick, my ass was staying home to watch him. But we had at that point, I think she like upgraded us to cable, so I was watching like reruns of shit on Disney Channel.
So you didn't experience watching Jerry Springer, Ricky Lake, Jenny Jones.
I do remember Jerry Springer because I remember the setup and I remember people like I remember the couches and like the show, the set itself.
There was no couch.
Well, what am I thinking of, Maury?
Maury didn't have couches either.
What am I? The chairs where they sit and they're on the sides of each other?
The chairs, yeah.
Okay, the
not
chairs.
The couch.
I'm sorry, the fucking chairs.
That's why I was like, well, who has couches?
I remember it, but I was watching like PBS and shit at that time.
Well, I remember when I used to be sick.
Home Improvement, that was one, and King of the Hill. Those would be on all the time.
Ooh, you are so young. Yeah, no, no. There was a lineup. So like in the morning when your parents left you at home by yourself, because you were old enough, obviously, but you would watch like, well, I know for me, I would watch Sally Jesse Raphael with the red glasses. You don't know who Sally Jesse Raphael is?
Why does she have 3 names?
That's just her name.
Okay.
She was a talk show host for years. She had the red glasses.
Sure.
Okay. Oh Lord Jesus. Sally Jesse Raphael. Then you would watch Jerry Springer, and then Maury would come on after that, and then you watch Ricky Lake too. This is when reruns. But Ricky Lake came on at like 5 o'clock though in the afternoon when she first came out. But that was the lineup. And then if you wanted to switch to like CBS or something, you could watch Geraldo.
So I remember being like, Reba was the show that would be on during the day. Like reruns
30 years later.
Yeah, okay.
I hate you.
Reba, Roseanne, like that kind of shit.
Yeah, no. You would watch those shows and then you would watch the stories starting at 12. And depending on if you were an ABC girl, a CBS girl, or for the soap operas. And then at 4 o'clock, everything stops because Oprah comes on. And then after Oprah was Ricky Lake. But Jenny Jones came on in the morning too.
See, that was me, but Ellen was the big talk show that would come on like after school if you could make it. Yeah, you got it. You would be right at the start of Ellen.
Wow, interesting. Well, I guess we don't have the same experience of Jerry dying because
No.
And he was only 79. And I thought he was getting like another show. Like he had got rid of like the Jerry Springer show as we knew it was now gone, and it was like he was now not a lawyer but a judge, and so he was like doing.
Did you see
court
that he was
stuff.
a mayor?
Yeah, he was.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and Steve. I don't know if Steve was really his son for real, but Jerry Springer, like Steve Wilkos, the Steve Wilkos show, this tall bald guy who looks like Cousin It just from the head. The reason why he became so popular was because he was the main security guard that would break up all the fights on Jerry Springer.
Oh.
And so they ended up giving him a TV show. But I don't think, and there were rumors that Steve Wilkos was his son, but I don't think he was ever really his real son. But anyway.
Gone too soon.
Gone too soon. Good night at 79 years old. Anywho, I'll tell you who else died, because you know celebrities come in threes. And I don't think this person meant to be a celebrity, but she fucked around and she found out. So the piece of shit that is Carolyn Bryant, who is responsible for the death of Emmett Till back in the day, who her husband and the murderer of Emmett Till, because she lied and said that he touched her inappropriately as well as whistled at her.
Right.
And he was a 14-year-old boy from up north that came to visit his family down south. And we know the whole story of Emmett Till and how they brutally beat him and killed him, murdered him, and tortured him as well too. She died. May she rest in shit. Anyway, and I know people are going to be
like so long ago that the idea that she's still alive is insane. Do you know what I mean?
Because they put all the pictures in black and white.
Yeah.
Even though the pictures of her in color exist, and she was only 88.
Really? Interesting.
Mm-hmm. She was only 88 years old. So the fact that she died at 88, how old would that make Emmett Till? We don't do math around here. That's not what we do.
So listen, the thing about this show, we're not doing math. We are spitting hard facts.
Exactly. I'll tell you who's spitting some hard facts. Unfortunately, we would like for him not to, but Joe Biden.
Lord.
Joe Biden has decided.
Coming back at us.
He decided to run again for the presidency of the United States.
How is that looking?
I don't think it's looking very good.
Okay.
Because, and I think it's going to depend.
This is your official election podcast.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, here's the thing. In any other industry, a person of Joe Biden's age would not be allowed to work. The only thing you could do is be a Walmart greeter, right?
How old is he?
He's 80.
Holy shit. I didn't realize he was that
80,
old.
ask Siri. I think it's 82 or 83.
How old is Joe Biden? Uh-oh.
Joe Biden is 80 years old.
He's 80.
80 years
You
old.
should. Why do you
Go
want
sit
to work
down.
again? Like, you've already had one term. Like, I mean, at this point, the Democratic Party don't really have anybody that they can put forward. But I think this election is going to depend on whoever is running for the Republican Party. And if they let DeSantis get out of, like, keep his job as governor and run, and if he goes against Trump and they allow Trump to run, he's going to split the Republican Party down the middle. And it's going to be chaos. Whoever we get is going to be horrible either way.
I'm going to be shopping for real estate in Europe while I'm over there.
I'm moving to Canada. That's the best bet we got, because
Justin Trudeau.
Joe is not going to win again. He's not going to win again.
He doesn't look like he can handle winning again.
No, he can't. If it's not written on paper, he can't say it. I tell you what else. Pretzels, because I haven't been with ice cream in a long time. And, because hey, what are we talking about? That's literally how if it's not written down, that's how he talks.
All right, leader of the free world.
Yeah. Why is this the best that America has? Is a freaking 80-year-old.
You know why?
I don't understand that.
No person intelligent enough and qualified enough for that job wants that job.
Hell, I'll run for it. Shit.
It's a horrible job.
It is. It absolutely is. But I mean, you can get. He has a button for ice cream. I think that's pretty awesome.
Ay.
But just saying. Do I know who I'm voting for? Absolutely. Am I going to vote for Joe Biden again? Absolutely. I have no fucking choice.
Someone may pull up from the rear. There could be a surprise candidate, a little celebrity.
They should have already come out if that's the case.
You just never know these days.
Waka Flocka. Listen.
Ooh, I would love Waka Flocka.
You know who I want to run for president? Eric Mays. Have you seen Eric Mays?
No.
He's a councilman in Flint, Michigan. He's the one that's just like, do I have the floor? Do I? Yes, you do. He's going viral right now with all of his amazing antics that he does at these council meetings. And he's just like, when they go low, I go lower. And I'm going to get nasty. I absolutely love Eric Mays. So that's who I'm voting for. I am writing into the ticket, Eric Mays 2024. I think we can do it.
All right.
And he's a realist. I love that man. Anyway, what were you telling me about the young lady, Tara Davis?
Tara Davis.
Speaking of running.
Speaking of running, a beautiful. Have you seen her?
Yeah,
she's just
beautiful.
wow. She went to the University of Texas Hook 'em Horns.
Boom. Okay.
She got really popular in the last couple of years because she was running in the Olympics and her boyfriend was in the Paralympics. He has prosthetics and now they're married. Super cute couple.
What does she run?
She runs circles around these hoes.
Specifically, what event?
You know I don't know. She's a long jumper.
Oh, okay, okay.
Which looks awful on joints. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
it looks like it hurts, but they pop up so quick.
Well, because the sand that they use, they don't pat it down super hard, but they do have to cover it every time. It's really kind of soft sand.
Soft sand.
Mm-hmm.
So she was stripped of her national title because she tested positive for marijuana.
Okay, so when did she win the title?
Okay, so this is the fun part. So her suspension began on March 21st.
Okay,
right?
of this year.
And you had to go through some kind of like substance abuse program. She completed the program but was disqualified from all the competitive results subsequent to February 17th. Which, how does that make sense? They like blocked her off. They were like, okay, you tested positive for marijuana on this date, but starting from the month before at this time, you were disqualified from all of those things.
Which she had already won her
Which
national
she had already
title.
won her national title. Shitty. Also, again, don't know if I have to say this for anyone else, marijuana is not a performance-enhancing drug.
I agree.
I don't know why we keep stripping these people. Also, she didn't test positive when she won.
Right. Because to me, that's the point. Did she test positive of a banned drug at the time she won her title? And if the answer is no, you shouldn't be able to strip her title. At this point, I just feel like, okay, there's two different things. Their rules are their rules, right? And if the rule books say you cannot have cannabis in your system, you just can't have fucking cannabis in your system and still be a part of that organization, right? Or to compete at that organization. But also, two, I don't understand how you decriminalize marijuana for recreational use for certain situations, and you cherry pick how you criminalize marijuana or how you make it into a negative. And it's not performance enhancing. It's just not.
How can you make something legal but still get in trouble for it?
Exactly. Because I want to know, did she smoke it?
Did she smoke the weed?
Did she? But also too, there's a lot of natural supplements that people are using that have cannabis in it, cannabis oil,
for
like
muscle recovery.
Yeah, CBD and stuff like that. Like, I mean, well, there's some CBD that has THC.
Who else did this happen to? Whose mom died?
Sha'Carri Richardson.
And she went and smoked, and then so stupid.
Allegedly, she smoked.
Allegedly, I don't know.
But she tested positive for marijuana.
I thought that's how it used to be. If you tested positive that day, that's when you got in trouble.
Exactly. You can't, not unless she just confessed. I hope she didn't, but we talk about confessions all the time. These are not your confessions if you are a competitive,
no.
athlete.
But she has to forfeit from that day all the prizes.
That's insane.
All the medals, all the awards.
Over marijuana.
Over marijuana.
That's not performance enhancing.
No.
That's absolutely insane. This is why, people should capitalize on as much as they can. You have like people like Angel Reese and Flage and Aaliyah Boston and all these college kids that are capitalizing on like the NIL and everything, and it's just like, this is why they don't want to turn pro, because of stupid rules like this. Like, it's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb, because the rules are very archaic and they're very ancient, and as again society matures and as we grow and develop, why can't your rules do the same thing? I'm not saying let cocaine in. That ain't what I'm saying. But marijuana is not a real drug. It's not a drug. It's a plant that Jesus put in on this earth. Hallelujah.
God made dirt.
And dirt don't hurt. Dirt don't freaking hurt. I tell you what else doesn't hurt. Having a lifetime deal with Nike.
Hey, I heard that. What's the dollar number on that, you think?
Ooh.
Kevin Durant just signed a lifetime deal with Nike. I think he's like one of 3 people to ever do it.
Yeah, I think the only people that have done it are Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and now him. Which I'm surprised.
Which is crazy. It just doesn't. If you had to pick those 2 for sure. I'd yes. I know KD's big. I just didn't realize.
I would think they would do that for Steph Curry.
Right? That seems
I would say
definitely.
Steph Curry, or even like Shaq. But no, Shaq was with Reebok for many years, and now his shoes are sold
Walmart
everywhere
shoes.
in Walmart.
Do you know how much money he makes off those Walmart shoes?
A shit ton.
Lord.
A shit ton. I had a pair of Shaq shoes before when they were in like Foot Locker though. Just back in the day.
Okay, let's see. Kevin. I need to know how much money this was.
Well, it's probably not money. It's probably equity,
Yeah.
which obviously is money, but it's not a dollar amount, like a percentage of equity.
Lifetime contract. What if Nike goes under in like the next 5 years?
They won't.
I know, but what if something crazy happens?
Then he'll get whatever equity is left.
But you're stuck to them for the rest of your life. Like that contract is probably like, it's you and us, we're riding.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like he can't go have a contract with Sprite or anything else. He just can't rock
Another
another shoe
shoe,
brand.
yeah.
Which, I mean, why would you want to? He probably only wears Nikes anyway. He got his Duranta with them. So he's already bound by life, shackled to life, you know. I don't think that's a bad idea or a bad thing.
That's just crazy. Lifetime.
I think it's absolutely
It's a big
amazing.
commitment.
Well, because even Allen Iverson, I think when he turns 55, because I don't think he signed he did sign a lifetime deal. I think it was with Reebok or something like that. But apparently, allegedly, when Allen Iverson turns 55, he's going to get like $32 million from Reebok
Jeez.
as a part of his whatever deal they had. I think it's Reebok. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's Reebok.
This is giving me no information, but yeah, that's
It's probably a
wild.
percent in equity.
Probably.
But I mean, can you imagine even if Nike gave you 1% equity as a lifetime deal? Do you know how much money that is? Like,
Lots of money.
Jesus, fix it, man. Give me 1%.
That is what we call generational wealth.
Is he even still playing?
Surely. I literally haven't heard. And not
He
that,
tore his Achilles.
after COVID, I just dropped off of sports because the bubble was stupid and nothing was hitting like it used to. But
Yeah.
I haven't heard his name in a minute,
Yeah. I mean,
unless someone's rapping about him.
oh yeah, they rhyme his name with everything.
He's
I
playing with
wouldn't.
the Suns. Maybe that's why I haven't heard anything.
The
about him.
Phoenix. Are you kidding me?
No, I swear to God.
Wow. That's interesting, to say the least. What were you talking about, Giannis Antetokounmpo? I don't know.
My
That's
favorite Greek man.
Antetokounmpo. Giannis.
You're doing great.
I don't want to butcher his name because it's such a beautiful name. Giannis.
He just did an interview.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. He did the damn interview. Why? They just lost though, but who did they lose to?
Who does he play for?
The Bucks.
Oh,
Which,
the
like,
Bucks, Milwaukee.
yeah.
Was he always with? Wasn't he with the Celtics? No. Don't
Can you
lie.
imagine going from Greece to Milwaukee?
I think anybody coming from any foreign country and coming to the United States, it's a big disappointment. They're just like, this is what y'all have over here. Like, this is supposed to be the best of the
know.
best, and they're just like, ugh.
Milwaukee.
This is your McDonald's. This is your Wendy's. These are your streets.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna find it. I have to pee again. Ugh.
Are you pregnant? I had a dream my sister was pregnant.
Really?
And she was like, I'm 5 weeks pregnant. I was like, bitch, what the fuck? How you know just specifically 5 weeks? But anyway, neither here nor there.
Hold on, I'm coming. I just didn't know who they lost to.
Will that change the story? Because now you have to make me edit.
I'll be really quiet right here so you know.
Yeah, it'll be like
That's
like an asystole line.
Yeah.
Which is actually helpful.
Okay. This was really hard for me.
Yeah. They were talking about the season with the Bucks, not necessarily a specific group.
Post game interview, he was asked about the Bucks and if he saw the season as a failure. Which, loaded question, because if I had worked on anything as hard as they work on a season of basketball, I'd be like, fuck off.
Right.
But they said, do you see the season as failure? And he was like, no, like, you go to your job every day. Did you get a promotion this year? He just starts flaming on this reporter. I love
Which
it.
I love that.
He's like, did you get a promotion this year? No. Would you call your job a failure this year?
Pretty much.
No. He's like, no, it's not a failure. Some people win and some people lose, and we're working really hard, which is true.
Yeah, he also gave like a scenario. He was like, Michael Jordan, played in the league for, umpteen years, and he only won 6 championships, but went after 9. So is he a failure now that he only won 6 of his 9? Like, no, it's still a success.
You're
at the end of
playing
the day.
against the top people in your sport.
Absolutely. I just feel like you should not be forced to, as an athlete, that you should not be forced into doing press conferences after any game.
When did it become
Mandatory.
mandatory and you get fined if you don't do press?
I think the more popular it became, like it's more popular as the sports became, and these companies started infiltrating, having their particular products being shown. Because like if you ever notice, if you look at post-game conferences or whatever, they'll have like a Sprite bottle or a Coca-Cola, and they're like,
Who
oh no,
was
take it
that?
down.
Yeah, who just did that? They had a drink up there, and the girl comes up and she's like, "You got to take that."
Was it
away.
Alexis from
And he
LSU?
said, no, it was a guy. And he said,
Oh.
why? And she goes, because they're not one of our sponsors. He goes, but they're one of my sponsors. I'm keeping it up here."
Exactly. So I think as sponsorships have increased, that's why they
That's
have to
all
do
time.
these things. It's
Well,
just to show
yeah,
it.
and everything's like, you're not just players now.
You're an
Because
entity.
everyone's on social media, and it's all about you and your brand and all of that shit.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine if, can you imagine, like, after every shitty patient you had to go sit with a supervisor and be like, all right, not even a supervisor,
What went
just
wrong?
like all the nursing staff,
Yeah.
walk us through what you were thinking.
Yeah.
What happened here? What could have we done better? What could we have done worse?
Exactly.
I would lose it.
Doing like a debrief. That's why I love Marshawn Lynch, because he was, I'm here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined. He's like, so whatever question y'all ask me, it's going to be the same response. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
And our job
I love
isn't
that.
half as physical as their job.
It's not, even sometimes though, like I've watched many post-game conferences with Serena Williams, and I feel like because she is a team of one, and even with her with Venus as well too, and even Naomi Osaka, I mean, these women are playing on these amazing huge stages and just lost in front of the entire world, and you're just like, so what could you have done different? Who the fuck cares, bitch? Can I go take a shower and wash my ass?
There's like no
geez.
process time either.
No.
And I guess it's harder with the team sport because you're thinking like, I mean, maybe I could have done this, and this, but this motherfucker did do this guy did this one did this, we weren't together on this, and then you have to go sit your ass up there and get grilled.
Why do we even have to talk about the win or as the winner or as the loser? Why do we have to discuss it? So what did you guys do? Bitch, we won. We outplayed them and we won. End of story. Let us go celebrate. So what could you have done different? It wouldn't have mattered. The game is over. The shot clock is at 0. Why are we still talking about it? It's the dumbest
Do you know
thing.
how much you get fined if you don't show up for post game?
I think it varies from the sport. I think with the NBA, I want to say it's between like 5 and 25 grand, depending on who you are.
That is wacky.
Yeah. I mean, I would, because even Naomi Osaka, she skipped one, and I think she got fined like $14,000. And I'm just like, y'all are messing with this girl's mental health. If she's telling you that press conferences affect her mental health, and you're just like, we don't give a fuck. You can go cry in the closet later, but we want to ask you. So you did a really shitty job today, and you lost.
And
What do
remember
you think
when she
about it?
stopped going and everyone was like, this is so unprofessional. Everyone
It's
does
not
this,
unprofessional.
da, 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 da.
It's just like even like have you ever watched some of the clips of what's her name, Jean Pierre?
No.
She's the White House press secretary.
Why would I watch that?
I'm just saying, just because some of the clips come out on social media. So I don't understand why press conferences are a thing. Like, you're asking, first of all, she's not the president. Okay, no press house secretary or White House press secretary is the president. So you're asking all these questions. Well, so what does he think on this? And it becomes like a reality show, and I'm just like,
What they should do is
Why?
White House press live streams.
that's it. Don't invite anybody there.
And then I can ask the questions from my phone.
You know when we can ask questions? When you start coming around and do campaigns. Or we'll just show up on the steps of the White House. That's it. When we're protesting.
Yeah,
Like-
protest. Have you ever been to a protest?
Absolutely.
What did you protest?
I protested.
Women's rights?
Hell no, I don't give a shit about that. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I did go out during the George Floyd protests and stuff like that. I wasn't out there very long because I am not a soldier like that. I'll talk shit about you on my podcast. But I did go out there for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? This is not for me.
But you put yourself out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Will I do it again? Probably not.
Yo, at this parade that we were at.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a protest?
No.
Okay.
The way my anxiety works.
Yeah, it was too many people. I was just like,
Yeah.
it's COVID. Nope, I'm gone.
I'll donate.
Yeah.
The cops drive to start the parade. The cops drive through on their motorcycles, like a
Yeah.
big band of them. And it was quiet, like it was early in the morning. People are kind of still filtering in. Someone shot off like the confetti popper.
Scared the shit out of you.
When I tell you, every black person
Yeah, it's a visceral
got
response.
a good crowd. I was even like, who does that?
Crazy people.
And those cops did not budge. I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
Protect and serve my ass, but
They gotta make it home in time to eat they unseasoned.
I was
Salisbury
just like,
steak.
not in this political climate. Put the poppers away.
Yeah, no, people do that just for, reaction and stuff like that. I'll tell you who else does some shit for reaction. Smokey Robinson.
I need every man over the age of 70 to just go sit down somewhere.
Shut
Live out the rest of your lives. Get off the phone.
Listen, if shut the fuck up should be your motto, it's Smokey Robinson. Like, so Smokey Robinson came out, he was on an interview.
But why are we, like, for what?
So they were
Are you
talking
dropping
about,
an album? Do you
No.
have a movie coming out? Then
No.
why are you doing an interview?
he did an interview where he was talking about an alleged affair that he had with Diana Ross years ago, 30, 40, 50, 70 years ago. And decides to say, oh yeah, well I had an affair with Diana Ross while I was still married. Like, sir, you're in your 80s. Why? And Diana Ross is living her life, got
Also,
5
weird
beautiful
flex.
children. Like, that's not a flex because you
No.
look dumb. And you know who Smokey Robinson reminds me of right now? The Baby. When he came out and said, oh yeah, I fucked Megan Thee Stallion. What value, sir, does that add to your life that you have to say
These
that?
women are just like, what the
Like what? Like, and this is why you probably ain't getting none right now. Like you're
Smokey.
lame. You're Smokey Robinson, sir. All the great that you have done,
Leave that woman alone.
you just undid it by just opening your mouth and saying some stupid shit. Oh, and I love my wife. Shut up.
You look
Shut
like you
up.
cheat on her. Nothing makes you look good. It makes
Oh,
you look
my
kind of
God.
thirsty and needy and weird.
Anytime any guy sleeps with a woman and they speak about it, it automatically devalues you. Just
But
shut
even
up.
more when you're 80 years old. Ew. I don't want
Exactly.
to know.
It's people are telling too much business, and Smokey just shut up. I'll tell you who else.
What a couple that would have been, though.
What, Diana Ross and Smokey?
Yeah.
Nah.
What a time.
I mean, to me, her and Barry Gordy made a better couple, but there was some. Anyway, I won't even go into it. There's some alleged stuff that happened. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'll tell you what else has been alleged. A lot of stuff in the news, right? You know, news is not real news. It's more so social media.
Nudes are not real news.
NEWS. So y'all know how, like, before, back in the day, you would watch the news to find out what happened in your local area, right? In the world at
Like
large.
when Diane Sawyer was sawyering.
Exactly. And when Lisa Ling was leaning. I don't
Yeah.
know. Anyway.
Sure.
And I feel like the way that news stations have turned now, because social media is so big, everybody's in a rush to be first and nobody's in a rush to be correct. And so in the news lately, I know y'all probably have heard this information, how 2 big news titans, both CNN as well as Fox News, have had some very interesting issues happen. So last week or the week before last, Don Lemon, who is an amazing reporter,
Getting drunk on
yes,
New Year's Rockin' Eve. baby.
always saying something inappropriate and laughing at everything. It's hilarious. He recently got fired from CNN, or allegedly got fired from CNN after 17 years on the air. Also, too, Tucker Carlson, who's been very controversial and just an alt-right asshole and a liar, has also how do they frame it? They said he parts ways
conscious
with
uncoupling?
Fox News, huh?
It was a conscious uncoupling.
Right, and I'm like, no.
They didn't even give him a, like, this will be his last night. They said
No.
he had his last show.
Yeah.
He will not be coming back to the
I
show.
can guarantee you they owe him a crap ton of money, though, because Tucker Carlson basically built Fox News into the madhouse that it is right now. Put it on the floor and stop playing with it. Put it on the floor. All of it. All of it. Even that little politic, I see it. Push it. Get it. Put it on the floor. I will vacuum it up later.
Wow.
Even the little 2. Get rid of it.
Okay, it's gone.
I have to talk to her like this because she will play with this stuff forever. And it's just like, just lint and whatnot. Anywho.
The American people built Tucker Carlson into what he was.
They really did.
During that Trump presidency, y'all let him get that big. Y'all all tuned in for the craziness and listened to everything
Yeah.
he said. And he thought he was bigger than Fox. And he thought he could say whatever and get y'all on his side. And then go
Yeah.
talk shit about his bosses and about Trump and about how big of idiots y'all were. And then it was all going to be fine.
But you could tell he didn't believe a lot of the shit he was saying anyway.
No.
You could tell he didn't believe a lot of
But
the
now,
stuff.
like, even as they replay, like, when we had all those people that were being flown over, do you remember, to Martha's Vineyard?
Yeah.
That was Tucker Carlson being like, why don't you go and put them somewhere else? Or
Yeah.
when, you know, just random shit like that.
Even
But I was
just
like,
the
you,
whole
you
COVID
let
situation.
this man
Yeah.
dictate these huge parts of, you know how hard it is to mobilize what the fuck am I talking about? what's the thing that they 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my god. We're gonna call in the National Guard. Thank you.
Okay.
You can't just call in the National Guard.
No,
and Tucker Carlson was like, why don't you call in the National Guard? And everyone was like, Greg Abbott was like, let's call in the National Guard. Like, this man had way too much power.
He really did. But he's a white man in America. That's what they built, unfortunately. But I personally think, so if y'all didn't know, there was a settlement that happened between Dominion and Fox News. And basically Dominion is the company that's responsible for the voting booths and all that kind of stuff. And there were allegations that were made against Dominion saying that their machines were rigged and all this other kind of stuff. Obviously that's slander and that is false information. They sued the shit out of Fox and they actually won via a settlement. And the settlement was $787 million, which is a shit ton of money. So I personally think, as a conspiracy theorist,
also Fox
that
can afford to lose, which is insane.
That's how much money they were
can
making.
afford to lose that much money.
Well, I think a part of the settlement was firing Tucker Carlson. You can't convince me otherwise.
I think that Rupert Murdoch was like, we will not be saying sorry for any of this.
Yeah.
We will not be taking actual responsibility, but we will get rid of this motherfucker.
Absolutely. I think they said, we want a cool billion, and the only way that we'll give you a discount is if you get rid of Tucker Carlson.
And I'm sure they were like, your salary will be funding half of it.
Absolutely. But I'm quite sure he has a big contract. Tucker Carlson has a big contract with Fox. I'm quite sure they're going to still have to pay him his money.
But I bet you built into that, there's always some like, what do they call it? Like a morality clause or something where it's like, who you say you are on the air, you have to be true to that as far as what people perceive from you. And if you break that, which he did because they released all of his text during this, like the discovery phase of this lawsuit. It was all of his text about how his bosses were stupid, about he couldn't believe that people were believing the shit that he was saying, about how the network was wrong, but he was going to say these things anyway. So I'm wondering if that's how they're going to get out of it.
Could be.
But he is just like persona non grata right now.
Yeah, I think that was, they needed to do that though. They needed to get rid of people like that who keep spreading misinformation because, what were the stats that you were telling me about? People who look at Fox News versus people who look at a show of
I think
Anderson
like
Cooper or something like that.
They were talking about ratings, and again, these numbers could be completely made up.
So they're all alleged.
But the sentiment stands. So the 8 p.m. like slot on news is the slot. That's what everyone tunes in. That's the prime time, and that's the slot that Tucker Carlson had. And I think that's the slot Anderson Cooper has for CNN. So they're saying like, you know, on a good day, Anderson Cooper's pulling like 1 million people in, which is a lot for for news television. Yeah. They said that Tucker Carlson was getting like 30 million views or something.
That's insane.
Insane number. So they were letting him say and do whatever the hell he wanted. And the issue still, like at the end, wasn't what he was saying. Like, yeah, he got in trouble because of this whole lawsuit. But it was like, I think it was a bunch of HR stuff. Like he was saying and doing really inappropriate things. And they were like, okay, yeah. No,
but like you said, when you give one person that much power and that much control, they feel like they can control you as an entity. And you have to quickly remind him, listen, I get it that you helped us build, but bitch, we are still Fox News.
He told Ron DeSantis, well, why don't you just put all those immigrants on a plane and send them to this place in Cape Cod or whatever, because they say they want to be, you know, more diversified, and they don't have any diversity. And then guess what happened? Well,
I honestly believe that a lot of these politicians, especially these right-wing Republicans, yes, they are wingworms because they fester. Anyway, Republicans, that they are in the pockets of a lot of these news stations, especially Fox News, because if you look at the way Fox News talks about Republicans in general, they never hold them accountable. They never say anything bad about them. They never go against the grain. Versus CNN and MSNBC. MSNBC to me is an in-between. They will report bad, good. CNN does not give praise to just Democrats. They will call out Democrats when they need to. And I think that's the difference between a CNN and a Fox News. Fox News they cater to their audience, whether it's truthful information or not. And they will run with it. That's why people start saying stuff like, all these people illegally voted and they voted twice. And then when they actually did the investigation, it was Republicans, and it was only like a dozen people who actually did it, and they all got caught for it. And the people they were dead people vote. Dead people can't vote, you idiots. And when again, the people that they found out who did it were on the Republican side. So I'm like, y'all don't care about facts. You can't just don't call yourself a news station. Call yourself a vlog and call it a day.
And if you're a politician, the one thing you need is numbers. If you have
Exactly.
this show pulling 30 million people a night,
Absolutely.
you're gonna have, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to go on there and look good and do whatever he says.
Yeah, and if you're convincing them that they are losing a country that wasn't theirs to begin with, then yes, it makes sense for you to be. But I think Fox News needs to rebrand and stop calling themselves a news station. You are a vlog
Entertainment.
channel. You're an entertainment channel. You're not news. Just because you report on popular things, we are not a news channel. We are a podcast. We are two people.
We are an opinion
with
channel.
that's it. In a personal opinion.
And I don't even know if it's my opinion. Most of the time, I'm just talking shit.
That's it. That's all we do. Half the time, half the stuff. Don't believe nothing we say, and
No,
half of
no.
what you hear. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Anyway,
But yeah, I don't know. Don Lemon supposedly got fired for misconduct and.
he gets drunk every year and they let him. I
don't
mean,
know.
what else? He's
So
a
that's
he's a
why I'm
little
like,
party.
is there some HR shit coming out?
Gotta be.
I don't know. There's a lot. It's gonna be shooken up in the news, baby.
I like
You
it.
don't watch Succession, do you?
No,
Okay.
I need to though. I haven't
So
watched
Succession
much
is loosely based on Rupert Murdoch and his family.
really
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know that I want to waste my life watching a
Well,
capitalistic family.
It's
go
just
down the
crazy
drain.
to think because it's actually hilarious because it's like
Is it a drama?
it's a drama and these adults, but they're his kids, have like when you look at it, it's a very real problem, right? Like you're working your ass off, you're trying to prove things to your dad, you own these huge companies, you have all this money, it's just
Yeah.
like all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
But then you zoom out and you're like, y'all are fucking millionaires. Like it's okay.
Rich people problems.
Yeah, but it's like in the first couple seasons, crazy shit will happen, or like presidential candidates will do this, and that, and the dad of the Rupert Murdoch is like, we're not saying that. You're not gonna run that. And they're like, this is the news. He's like, no.
Exactly.
Which is exactly how it is.
Yeah, well, when you have one person that controls the narrative, i.e. the news, then you don't know what's real.
Or he's like, I need this from this person, and if we run that story, I can't get that.
Exactly.
So we're not going to piss him off because I'll need him to do this, and that.
And we get ads, we get dollars. That's why I said you cannot. Politicians and news channels are one and the same. They are no different. They're the same people. They're in each other's pockets, which is why certain stories are reported and others are not.
Anarchy.
That's all it is.
That's what we need.
That's all it is. Well, I'll tell you what else is some anarchy bullshit. Certain people in Christianity.
Oof.
Okay, so we don't just talk about it for a second. We're going to take a second and talk about it. So there's a pastor that was in social media news this past week. Her name is Jackie Hill. I actually follow her on social media, on Instagram specifically.
You're a supporter.
I'm not a supporter. I think she hit some good points on certain topics.
Like what?
Like marriage, self-identity. So she was made popular because she was actually like a slam poet. Like those people who just, what were you going to say? Because I know it's going to be funny. What were you going to say?
Slam poetry always reminds me of when he's like, Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Jesus
Yes.
died for our sins.
Yes.
Cynthia.
Right.
Is that Cynthia?
Yes. So Jackie Hill, she's an amazing orator. Okay, and so
What
she
is that? Orator?
like a speaker. Maybe I'm saying the word wrong. Hey,
No, I've just never heard that.
really orator?
Hey Siri,
I might be saying it wrong.
what's an orator?
An orator or orist is a public speaker, especially one who is eloquent or skilled.
No, that's good. I've just never heard that.
You never heard the
That
word
sounds good.
orator?
I'm gonna screenshot it and use it every day.
Okay. Anyway, so she's a great orator, right? And so she also writes poetry, and she's more notably known for being a lesbian who is no longer a lesbian, right? And so because through Christianity, a reformed, born again lesbian, right? So she is now married to a man.
Ah.
No, she's married to a man. She has 3 children now. And she is a pastor, right? And so a lot of her sermons and stuff kind of go viral, and because I think she gives a great perspective, especially being a young person. Because I think she's younger than me. But anyway, so she said some controversial things, because everything that she says I do not agree with. But I think she does hit a lot of good points on certain things: relationships, marriage, parenthood. You know, just in the church, getting away from tradition. But the thing that I find contradictory about her is that some of her sermons are contradictory. Like you say, oh, well, get out of tradition, but then you say traditional things. So in social media news specifically, sorry, your hair is sticking up. There we go. No, you're good. I got it.
The whole thing.
See how I pay attention to you so you don't look crazy on camera. You know
I
exactly
am barely functioning in my own world.
It's
here.
fine.
I
It's
can
totally
see
fine.
about to right here.
Yeah. So anyway, she made some comments in one of her past sermons about Beyonce and Kalani. And what she was saying was that, you know, you can't, that all black people don't have to identify with being a witch. Like, being a witch does not make you automatically
Also,
black.
Beyonce witch, I get, because I know that she does a bunch of witchy stuff, or like has
Yeah.
a bunch of witchy symbolism. Is Kehlani a witch?
I don't even know if Beyonce is a witch. I think we keep putting labels and stamps on people, and they're just like, I didn't say anything. I'm doing my music. That's it. But I find it very contradictory that she made comments saying, you know, oh, you wonder why you're so depressed, and you're listening to demonic songs from Beyonce and Kehlani. And here's what I do know about music, right? I think all of us have a general knowledge and understanding that music influences your behavior at times, right? If you are in a sexy mood, you can throw on some Tank and some, you know, Chris Brown or some Joe or whatever the case may be. If you're in a party mood, you can put on some LMFAO or some, or, you know, if you feel like a hot bitch, you can
Who's
put
putting
on
on LMFAO in 2023?
I mean, I'm just saying at the time.
Okay.
But when you were a party rocker in the house
When I
tonight.
was a party rocker,
And you were trying to have a good
put
time.
on LMFAO. You
Exactly.
are correct.
So, and we know that music soothes the savage beast, right? You've heard that saying before.
Music soothes the savage beast.
Yes, music can definitely put, because even I remember when I was younger, when Lil Jon and the East Side Boys first came out.
What?
You cannot
Okay.
listen to Lil Jon when you are in traffic, because you will die.
No, yeah.
Like, you will get out and kill somebody. Like, for real. You can't not listen to that. You know, Ludacris move, bitch, get out the way. Don't listen to that in traffic.
Oh no.
So I do think that, and I do agree with her that music does have influence. I think we all know that. But what I want Christian pastors to do is to stop this ideology of pushing a message of white supremacy and saying stuff like, we can't sit here and believe that the people in Africa didn't know Jesus. Okay, let's be historically correct. And I'm not going to debate history with you, because that's not what I do. You go to Amanda Seals for that. Anyway, but what I do know is that colonialism introduced new religions, right? And the Jesus that people in Africa back in the day know is not the same Jesus here in America. What I'm saying, and the characteristics and things of that nature. Y'all can argue with your mammy. So, not only that, I feel like pastors and preachers are always, and this is specifically to the black church. I will speak specifically to the black church because that's the only member of church that I'm a part of, or used to be. Anyway, y'all spend so much time coming down on Beyonce and Kehlani and Nicki Minaj and all of these other people when you could have took advantage of that time to promote gospel and Christian artists. Now, whether you did that in the rest of your sermon, I don't know, and I don't really give a shit, because you know why? I stopped listening once you said that bullshit. But even, it was amazing to me that Nicki Minaj or Tasha Cobbs collaborated with Nicki Minaj to do a song, a gospel song.
I didn't know that.
And the whole church was up in arms. Oh my God, Tasha Cobbs, we can't believe you did some wild shit like that.
Why? Nicki Minaj can't be saved?
But Kanye West does a whole gospel album, went out here winning Dove and Stella Awards, and y'all just like, let him win. I don't understand what the issue is. It's a double standard of what it is. Now you got Corinne Hawthorne, who did a movie recently. Jacqueline Carr was in that movie as well too, and she redid Cardi B's what is it? Something money. Something. Jesus, I can't remember.
But she remixed. Yep, whatever. She remixed it with gospel lyrics.
She did. She put gospel lyrics, and the thing is, Cardi
because
B,
make it relatable for the kids.
But that's what I'm saying. But Cardi B was in the studio with Corinne, and she was like
cool.
dancing to it. People were just like whirly.
Because guess what?
How?
These people are just like your kids. They grew up in the church too. They just got famous.
Thank
for this
you.
shit, shaking their ass, and that's how they made money. But they still love Jesus.
Exactly. Like, you over here judging people, and I just feel like, again, the secular music is being promoted by secular artists, okay, and secular spaces. I don't understand why Christians feel the need to promote secular artists in Christian spaces. Y'all got so much shit to say about Beyonce and all these other people, as if people cannot be conformed and changed
Beyonce's
and
not
renewed or
marketing
whatever.
shit to the church.
That's what I'm saying. She's not, and she's not trying to. But the thing is, too, Beyonce grew up in the church. But y'all spend so much time talking shit about secular artists and not enough time promoting. Jackie Hill, I ask you a question. When was the last time you posted about a new Tasha Cobbs album? When was the last time you posted about Kiara Shear's music? What you should have done, or what you could have, like I said, I didn't listen to the rest of your sermon, that I don't really give a shit to listen to it. Because I'm still going to follow you, and I haven't unfollowed you, because I still think you make some valid points. I'm just disagreeing with you right now, and I have a podcast where I can talk about it. Neither here nor there. All I'm saying is, you could have took that opportunity to say, music in general that does not glorify God can have these effects on you. But you know what's some great music to listen to? Mary Mary, Hillsong, Maverick City, Kirk Franklin, the Walls Group, whoever. But y'all spend so much time just talking shit and talking down on secular artists when these people are minding their business. You don't know what kind of personal relationship they have. That's it. You got clickbait for your church.
To
and
make
I'm
that
like,
point, you
girl.
didn't have to say Beyonce. First of all, when you say Beyonce's name, you know what you're doing because everyone's gonna rise up for Beyonce.
Exactly. And also too, when you start talking about people's practices, let's be very clear real quick. Let's go to history real quip. And I know history guru again, but I'm just saying. You could talk about the people in Africa and hoodoo and voodoo practices, right? Which are religions.
So
let's be very clear.
Was saying, right? Like
she was
black witches.
She was talking about black witches and witchcraft, and and here's the thing. I watched several documentaries on hoodoo. Most of the stuff that they do in hoodoo is brought up in the black church.
We just slap Jesus.
That's all you do is slap Jesus on it. There are a lot of parallels. Wearing white, baptizing people, anointing their head with oil. Let's be clear. A lot of the practices that you do, Pastor Jackie Hill, is rooted in hoodoo and in voodoo, which originated in Africa. So don't sit here and make it seem like y'all are above all of this other stuff and demonizing it. Because let's be clear. Who demonized hoodoo and voodoo?
The white people.
Thank you. Who didn't understand
who's
it.
To say that, like, if I'm praying to some kind of power or force or overall being, and you're praying to some kind of power or force or overall being, who's to say they aren't the same?
Exactly.
They've just been,
They just shown up and shown out in your life. Exactly.
Huh.
You can't, I will never tell a Buddhist that Buddha has not saved their life, has not healed them from anything. Because you know why? I ain't tried Buddha and I don't want to. You know why? Because Jesus the Christ that I know has shown up and shown out in my personal life. So I don't feel the need to go to your God. But I'm also not going to degrade your God at the same time. I'm not going to go and tell you that, Allah, which means God. Because again, when you bring in divisive, entities that come in and try to tell you, oh, all Muslims are terrorists. No, they're not. They're praying to the same God you're praying to. There's just different practices, and that's all it is. But we're so harped on our God is the only God.
Jesus.
Everybody feels that way about their own Jesus too. They feel that same way about Mary in Catholic. What is it? Catholicism.
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 You heard what the fuck she said. Catholicism.
I'm not an orator, but whatever.
Catholicism.
But I'm just like, you spend all this time.
We pray to the saints, and then everyone's saying you can't. That's blasphemy. Why do you pray to the saints? You're only supposed to be praying to Jesus. I mean, you could pick something in every religion.
You can.
My favorite thing is instead of bashing other people or telling other people what they're doing wrong, just harp on the good things about your religion.
Exactly.
Your God. That pulls other people to what you're doing. That will do way more good and make way more of an impact the way you want than just being like, you're doing this wrong, this is horrible, this is why you feel this way. No.
Well, it's the same scenario as being a child. You tell your child, I don't want you hanging out with these friends. I don't want you dating this boy. What happens? They go and date the boy because you're telling them not to do it. And even in different scenarios, you sit here and you tell people all day, and like you said, you harp down on the negative stuff about people, and you judge, and then you come back and say, well, we not judging nobody, inserts judgment. We not being disrespectful to nobody, inserts disrespect. Like, you gotta pick a side here.
Yeah.
Pick a fucking side. And I'm not gonna listen to the rest of your message because I do not give a shit. So you can post whatever you want to post. I don't care. All I'm saying is, I found that one sound bite and I decided to talk about it on my podcast.
Because that's what we can do. Because
that's
we
what
have
we
a
can do.
podcast.
Absolutely. Because it makes great content for what? Us.
Amen, sister.
That's all I'm saying. Anything else we need to talk about before we get into the Rehab Corner and what we're watching?
Nah.
Okay, that was made very clear. What have you been watching?
I've been watching Grand Crew on Peacock, which is this cute show. So I know Nicole Byer is hit or miss.
Oh, mostly miss for me.
I know, because she was the nailed it girl, and she was on Girl Code, and I think a lot of people get annoyed with her because she does these like very squeaky voices. She's very
she's
eccentric, over the top. But this is a show just of like 4 or 5 black friends. It's kind of like Friends the show, but black people in 2023. And she acts normally.
Good for her.
And it's really good. It's just a cute, good background show. Short episodes. They're really funny.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a less drama Insecure.
Okay.
Is the vibe it's giving. So I've been watching that, and I like it.
Cool beans.
What have you been watching?
I've been watching a few different things. I saw this one movie. I was gonna try to figure out what the name of this thing is. So the Light Week. I've been watching this one movie called AKA, and it's not the AKAs, not the sorority, but it is talking about. It's a basic movie about a terrorist that comes to the United States. He does some shit.
Basic terrorist movie.
Yeah, they just try to kill everybody, but they found out he's really probably not a terrorist. Who knows? Anyway, but I've been watching that. I did watch The Light We Carry that's on Netflix.
That sounds familiar. Was that a book?
Yes, it's Michelle Obama's book. And she basically does a tour with the book. And she has different hosts everywhere she goes. But the very end of the tour, which was hosted by Oprah Winfrey, and they have like an hour and a half conversation. And she talks about a few different things about, being the first lady, her marriage with Obama, because a lot of people had controversial things to say when she was just like, I've been married to my husband for 30 years, and for 10 years I was pissed at him. And so, yeah, and I'm just like, but that's a reality in marriage. And she didn't say it was 10 years consecutively. She just said for 10 of them, I was pissed off at him, and that's okay.
Well, so you can be pissed at someone and love them.
Absolutely.
Also, like,
people have kids and be pissed at their kids.
Here's my thing. If I was married to someone who was a politician, like, go you, boo. I want you to do you, but also I probably will hate you because politicians have to do horrible things.
Well, also, too, she was talking about, when they asked her about running, she was just like, well, do you want to clear the air about you running for president? And she was just like, listen, I supported my husband through his political career. I've never been interested in politics, even when I was a lawyer, never been interested in it. So why in the world would I be happy that my husband is running for president and then wins? And she literally said the only reason why I was okay with him running is because I did not think he was going to win. He's a black man in America. Not only that, I just didn't think that the world was ready for a black president.
It's also a horrible job to have. It affects. Can you imagine raising young girls and thinking, like, if he wins, their lives are over? Like, life as they know it is over. They're always going to be watched.
Absolutely.
They can't do anything. My life has to change. I can't just be,
a normal human being.
Yeah.
Because she was even talking about, too, like, their 30th anniversary, they went back to the beach for their honeymoon or whatever, and I think it was in Hawaii. And she was like, oh, it was so beautiful. She was like, now, mind you, we had our Secret Service agents, which were about 16 different people that are around you on the beach. You're trying to have this romantic moment with your husband, and everybody's watching you. You're just like, she's moving. The eagle has landed. You know what I mean? And it's just like, that's not romantic at all. But yeah, I think too, she was talking about even her identity, like finding her identity, being a first lady. But it was a really good conversation. There was some contradictory things that I really didn't like. Not contradictory. There were some things that she said that I think the way she worded it was, well, she meant it obviously the way she worded it, but she was talking about young people, and she was just like, people are in their 20s and they think they got it all figured out. Like, there's no, what did she say? There's no success in being youthful or something like that. She was like, y'all don't know nothing yet and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I take my advice about mothering from people who have successfully done it. And I'm like, well, thank you, because this is why you have an 80-year-old still running for president is the problem, because you think you can't learn from young people, and you can. She did kind of clean it up a little bit and came back and was just like, I want to hear from young people, they have a lot to give and da 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 da. But I'm like, you just contradicted yourself by saying there's no value in youth. Like, no, there actually is. But anyway, because tell that to Martin Luther King, tell that to John Lewis, who was a college student fighting for civil rights. But I know what she meant, but it was just annoying because. Anyway, neither here nor there, but it was great. Also, too, I've been watching this new series on Netflix. It's called How to Get Rich.
Oh, someone at work was talking about that.
It's a really good series. I'm on like the 3rd episode.
Are you rich yet?
And no, not yet. But he's basically like a nicer Dave Ramsey.
Well, I heard he was telling people to pay their student loans, and I will not be doing that.
No, so he was telling people, trying to figure out. First of all, he has access to all of your accounts. What's in your savings, what's in your checking. He finds out what you do for a living. He finds out, first of all, where is your money going.
He's a forensic accountant.
Exactly. But he does it in a very relatable and practical way, and not a very mean and judgmental way like Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is fucking mean. That's just my personality.
People don't have houses because they buy avocado toast.
Exactly. And I'm like, avocados, they are expensive, but they're not. It's not more like I'm going to. Exactly. It's not like I'm going to Starbucks to get fucking avocados. But anyway, he's a much nicer version of like Dave Ramsey, but he also does tell them the truth. Like, so you're talking about you want a house. This is one couple. The husband, I think, makes $77,000 a year. The wife, she quit her full-time job making $50,000 to start doing her wood business, and her income is variable.
Wood business.
She does like woodworking and stuff. So like 1 month she said she brought in $5,000. The next month she only brought in $2,500. 1 month she brought in $1,500, and 1 month she brought in $8,000. So he's just like, I get it that you want to have your business, but you need to find a way to do your business and have a full-time job, because you talking about you want a house, but y'all literally have $500 in your savings account. So what if something happens with your house? You're not going to have enough money. So he's very relatable and practical without being judgmental. And I think he does it with compassion and a little bit of grace. But it's really good. He gives really good tips and ideas and stuff like that. But part of debt control is your student loans.
Yeah.
So because you can't get away from it. I mean, we can now for the past 4 years. But I'm just saying, like, and some of these people have very simple debt. Like, anybody who has
under $20,000 of student loan
shut
debt,
the fuck up and pay that shit off.
Do not talk to me about student loan
Seriously.
debt. And just like everything else, everyone has their own battles. Everyone has their own struggle.
Yes.
But you cannot. It's like when people who are like a size 12 are like, I'm plus size, and people who are a size 23 are like, shut the hell up,
bitch.
My $200,000+ in student loans is not 20. If I had $20,000 in student loans,
I would have been paid it off.
I would have been like, let me work my ass off for a couple years real quick.
I paid for my mattress out of pocket. I would have definitely did that.
It's like climbing a hill and climbing Mount Fuji. I'm like, oh, that mountain's pretty high.
With no rope and no shoes
Yeah.
on. Like, we are not the same.
Yes, people keep doing that at work.
It's so
like,
annoying.
Well, you know, my student, I'm like, your student
I
loans
have $30,000 in student loans. Oh, you have a Toyota Camry?
That's
Shut
exactly
the fuck up.
what I literally today, I made the same comparison. I was like, you have a small car. I have a house.
I have a house.
a 4-bedroom home. On top of my 3-bedroom home.
Right. And I have it like in the hood in California.
I have a nice house in student loan debt.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Yeah, if you don't have 6-digit student loan debt, just shut the fuck up. Us with 6-figure debt, we struggling out.
It's different.
It's very different. We are not the same. So be quiet with your Honda Civic and your Toyota Camry, and maybe you got a Kia Sorento, but you can pay that shit off. Like, I'm not discrediting.
I have a G-Wagon worth of debt. 2 of them.
2 G-Wagons,
2
exactly.
G-Wagons.
Exactly. But yeah, and was it our decision? Absolutely. But who pushed the narrative for us to go to college?
I just don't know if that's what I signed up for.
I definitely didn't sign up for that shit.
Yeah.
You can have, matter of fact,
Take it back.
you can have my PT degree back if you take all my student loans associated with it completely off. And that's undergrad and grad.
I think I would do that too.
I will keep my MBA. But you can have this PT degree back.
I'll go work in tech like everybody else and get laid off and then get unemployed.
I mean, I can just take my knowledge and still work in healthcare, but I don't have to be at the bedside. I already went away from it once. I can do it again. It's not that big of a deal. That's the game plan anyway. So just saying.
We always come back to student loans in this podcast.
We sure do, because they're gonna be canceled. I know it. Hallelujah. All right. Hush, audience. All right. So you ready to go into the rehab corner? Last thing.
Let's go. Oh my gosh! Before we go, one of my patients today came in. Infected toe wound. How did she know it got so bad that she had to come to the hospital? Maggots. There were maggots in her toe.
That means that there was no pain. She's gonna lose that toe.
She lost. Yeah, it's gone. She's gone.
Because if you don't feel that, if you came in only because there's maggots and not because there's pain, that means that it's already dead.
Maggots.
That's
rough.
Welcome to healthcare. Welcome to the rehab corner, everybody. What are we talking about in the rehab corner? This is the last day
of OT month. We made it. I'm glad everyone now knows what occupational therapy is.
Absolutely. We want a 7-page report from each one of you.
Thank you. Due at the end of class.
Exactly.
There was quite a bit of drama. We just had our AOTA. That's the National
Association of Occupational Therapists
of America. American Occupational Therapy Association.
This is your organization, I don't know.
No one cares. AOTA, that's what it's called. We had our big conference in Kansas City. There was drama because we have, I just love it. Love the drama. They have implemented these like race and diversity seminars, forums, panels.
Oh, goody.
You know, because we're trying to be
inclusive.
And AOTA in general has been getting a lot of flack because they just had this huge thing happen where there was the vice president of AOTA. Is this black woman who was the admissions director for
Mhm.
USC OT grad school.
Mm-hmm.
She went on maternity leave. Her job was supposed to be protected. When she was trying to come back, she had been replaced by a white woman, and they were like,
In a diversity role.
in a diversity role.
Wow.
She had ushered in 2 of the most diverse classes at that school. She was
Mhm.
doing a lot for diversity and inclusion. All the students loved her. They didn't really give her an explanation why she had lost her job, and everyone was like, you took this away from her, she's doing all these things, then you gave it to a white woman. And of course AOTA was like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
We're not in charge of the schools, we preside over
The
you know,
organization.
the organization.
Yeah.
So everyone's kind of already antsy over that. So then there was this seminar going on about kind of just how white OT has been
Mm-hmm.
for the entirety of its,
Existence.
existence, and how to change that, retention for students of color,
Mhm.
and just ways to include more diversity.
Yeah.
And one of the women on the panel, let me not mess up her name, Carolyn Baum, who used to be the president of the organization,
Okay.
said, I was AOTA, I'm paraphrasing
Okay.
because I don't want to get sued.
Absolutely.
I was AOTA president in the 80s, and at that time we didn't see the humanity in black people. This was a common attitude in the 80s. It wasn't just AOTA that felt this way, but all institutions. But now we're doing better. Our program has about 20% of black people in them.
Mhm.
Okay? Hysteria.
Why?
There are hundreds of comments under. Someone posted what she said.
Mm-hmm.
AOTA, of course, like all people were pissed, right? Because I guess the conversation was kind of like, this group of people was segregated against in this way. These are ways to change it. And she was
Mhm.
like, yeah, I can tell you that firsthand because I was one of the people who was doing it. It was crazy back then.
Yeah.
Everyone was pissed. They start complaining to AOTA. Everyone's like, I'm canceling my membership. I can't believe you said that, because AOTA, did their little apology
Mm-hmm.
statement. It was just
Yeah.
kind of like, this is a safe place. We want to promote inclusivity and discussions, and this is being dealt with quickly and personally and yada yada yada. Because this woman's on the board. She's
Yeah.
not just some random person.
Right.
So everyone's pissed because they're like, we're calling for her head, and of course you're not doing anything.
Mhm.
People are fucking livid.
I mean, okay, so she made a comment about a fact that in the 80s, in the occupation of occupational therapy, black people were not valued, and that were not looked at as human enough to accept them into the programs to be able to practice medicine as an occupational therapist, correct?
From my very limited research
Right,
and
right, right.
limited resources available
Just
to
paraphrasing
me,
it.
yes, that is what
Gotcha.
it seems to happen.
So I guess my question is, why is there hysteria with someone who was actively, allegedly discriminating against a population of people, calling her own self out and the field itself to acknowledge that, hey, in the 80s, we didn't give a shit about these black people. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but I'm just saying, like, I think it's the same argument as far as with slavery. We talk about, the America don't even acknowledge that slavery was here. Okay, so here's what we do. Here's what I don't care about. Well, I do care. I care that you acknowledge it, but I also care what you do after the fact. So I think maybe it would have went over better if she would have said, listen, I was directly responsible for not letting some people in, but me being on this board now is my way to make my wrongs right. Here's what I've been implementing. Here's what I've been putting in place, blah, 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 blah. But to have outrage about the fact that somebody has confessed to something that is a fact that everybody already knows and said the unspoken thing, and then now you're mad at her for saying the unspoken thing, is a bit stupid.
So half the comments are, we're so upset, we're canceling our membership. Half the comments are like, gotcha, bitch. Because again, I think... Gotcha. I think everyone was so already on edge and sensitive from this other... Well, let me say her name. Say her name. Her name is Dr. Oh my god.
Let me see.
It's because
May and oh nope. Dr. A.
Dr. A.
I'm just gonna say Dr. A.
And Varazadeh. Listen, she was the director of admissions at USC.
Yeah.
Because she was just replaced. All of these crazy things happen, right? And of course, people were saying, what is AOTA going to do? Because they're the national accrediting whatever over everyone. And they were like, our hands are tied.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone's like, well, this has always been, there's always been racism in this, and da-da-da-da, and you're not doing anything. And of course, so then this happened. And people are saying, look, you have someone on your board who's up here making these racist comments, and you're not doing anything about it. But I'm like, and again, I wasn't there, so I don't have the whole context.
Right,
so she
right,
could have
right.
been saying wild shit before or after.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it sounds to me like she is validating everyone's suspicions about why OT looks
Yeah.
like it is. So I don't know.
And that's not race to me. If a person came out and said, let's say you have a person, Becky, right? Becky was molested by her uncle David, right? I'm just saying, but I'm just giving an example. So say Becky was molested by her uncle David, and she had told her mom, "Hey, Uncle David did this to me." And for 30 years, this man was like, "No, that's not what happened. Absolutely not. That's not what I did." And 30 years later, he comes back and says, "You know what? You were absolutely right. I did molest you. Unfortunately, I apologize. I want to make my wrongs right." Or even if he didn't want to make the wrong right, he just acknowledged, "Yes, I did. You were not crazy," right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the idea of what you want to happen in a profession. You want the people who did the wrong things. You want them to come back and hold themselves accountable and to confess their sins of what they did. And her saying, "Yeah, we didn't see black people as human." That's not an unconscionable concept. In the medical field, they literally taught med students that black people do not feel pain.
Remember that?
And let's be clear, the reason why the maternal fetal mortality rate is so high is because people still believe it.
that.
So the fact that she's saying that out loud, why aren't you happy about that?
I'm wondering if it's one of those things. Do you remember a couple of years ago when all those
I'm not happy with it.
white politicians were like, "Oh yeah, I did sexually harass these people when I was younger, but it was a different time." And everyone was like, just because you did shitty things then and no one said it was wrong doesn't mean they weren't shitty things to own up to now.
Right.
I'm wondering if they're like, okay, just because you are admitting to the fact that you treated this group of people this way back then and no one thought anything of it, that doesn't mean it wasn't right. But it seems like she's saying that it wasn't right.
Right. It seems like she's admitting it was not right, and we have taken steps. Now, if they called for her resignation, I could absolutely understand that.
She's not even the president.
But I'm just saying, but if you're serving on a board and you were once racist to people because here's the thing. The problem is not you being racist. No one cares that you're racist. It's when you are in a position of power and you're actively making strides within your racism to make decisions about people that you're being racist against. That's the problem. Now, if she's doing more things to be more inclusive and to help out with things like that, then she's making her wrongs right.
I would say you are by being a part of the panel. The whole panel is about...
And admitting it.
Yeah.
But you can't admit it and go back to the same behavior that you were doing in the 1980s.
True.
Is the point.
And I guess people don't like when you start saying that, like, we didn't see the humanity in black people.
But you didn't.
She didn't. Could she have worded it another way?
No, I don't think she should have.
I think she could have, and we wouldn't be in this.
No, I don't. But then it would still be dancing over the issue that the reality is that the field of occupational, the medical field at large, dehumanized black people down to the point where the reason why Western medicine is because of the devaluing and the dehumanization of black bodies. The only reason why we have advances in cancer research, you can thank Henrietta Lacks for that. The only reason why you have this supposed father of gynecology is because you practice on black women's bodies without anesthesia for years and nobody said anything.
Wouldn't let them become doctors.
You
or nurses
took
or
the field of
practitioners.
midwifery away from black women. Midwifery can go all the way back from the days before slavery in Africa. And here in the United States where midwifery was ran and created by black women, you took it away and you said it's illegal for you to know how to read, but we need you to show us how to create babies or how to deliver babies. And now you have this whole field that is whitewashed, and now black women are fighting for an opportunity to get back into the very field that they created. So if you have a white person who was, again, responsible, not solely, but responsible in a way for creating this whitewashed field of occupational therapy, she should call that shit out, and she should call it out just as horrible as it was. I mean, I don't think she should have worded it any different. We did not see the value. We didn't see the value in these fucking black people. What other way to say that? That's the truth. You want the truth to be sugarcoated to you?
Yeah.
It's the same thing in PT. PT is whitewashed too. At my job currently, there's another, I don't want to say that. Because I don't want to be too specific. Anyway, at my current job, I am the only black female acute care therapist. on PT and or OT side for acute care. Now, outpatient, there's a few different ones or whatever. But when you're the only one and you're just like, well, where did you go to school? Where did you go to school? I haven't met a PT yet that I have worked with that has gone to the same school I went to. But I'm quite sure you know other people who've gone to your same school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they're white.
Yes, they are.
They're not. How many are black?
One, two black ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you're an anomaly. I like that.
Hey.
I love that for you. But look at how many other people who have gone to UT up the street, and they're like, oh yeah, so and so was in my class. They can call 15 classes back of nothing but white people. The medical field at large is whitewashed.
Yeah.
And it's whitewashed for a reason. But why don't you want the whitewashing people to call the shit out?
I know. And I think people are also upset because in the apology that AOTA made, they didn't say what happened or who it was or call her out. But I'm like, that's PR 101, babe.
Yeah, don't confess.
Why would they do that?
But my thing is, what do you want AOTA to do? Like,
they're calling for her head.
But I understand that, and I think it's valid to say. Now, if they were to say we have now taken her off the board, that's it. But you can't expect a governing body to then come on a university level and fix university shit. That's not what they're there for. They are there to make sure that the field at large for occupational therapy exists, okay, and that people know about it, and that the OTs have resources when they need them, and to make sure that field altogether is safe via, your boards and all that other kind of stuff. That's what they're there for. You need to go down to your local college and say, hey bitch, y'all did this shit, we don't like it, and we fed up.
Yeah.
AOTA should not put that responsibility on any governing board to handle affairs of a university. That's stupid.
You don't want them to be able to do that. Because they could do the same thing. What if we started admitting a bunch of black people? You have a whole, and they were like, actually not diverse because this all looks the same. Wasn't
this the same argument about affirmative action? People were saying that, well, affirmative action is just giving black people, admission when they're not qualified. No, it wasn't. It was because you white people continue to discriminate against qualified applicants. You are not even at the same level.
You have your legacy.
Exactly.
And your,
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, if you are a person of color and you're interested in occupational therapy, you should definitely apply. Go to school. We need more color.
Don't do it. But the reverse is kind of happening though. I will speak about this only because I've seen this. She's no longer the director, I don't think. But at my school, when I graduated from FAMU, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, PT school, and when I was there, my director, it was a co-directorship, basically, 2 black men, right? And so most of the class, I would probably say 95% of our class was black. I think we only had 4 white students out of a class of like 35, right? That. Once I graduated my last year, there was another black woman that came in, but she came from Nova Southeastern University, which is a very diverse school, but still more whitewashed than anything, right? It's a PWI. But when she came in, the next class up under us, which was already chosen before she got there, was mostly black, but they had a couple sprinkles in, right? I would say probably like the last 5 to 6 years, they've had mostly white kids and a sprinkle of black children.
Really?
Mind you, this is an HBCU, okay? And I'm looking at her like, ma'am, this school was created for us, by us, and needs to be looked out for. Now, I'll get it. Now, if you're getting money for these white kids, get your money for the school. But if you're not, you need to create that into a safe space to have more black bodies in these professions, because PWIs are doing enough of putting their own out there. And there's nothing wrong with a white school producing more white students. That's what they're supposed to do. So you should have the same effect with black schools producing more black students. I mean, it just makes sense. What you have a black school for and you just accept a number of white kids? That's dumb. You might as well be a PWI as well. What difference is it between you and a PWI if you're not accepting more black kids?
I just wish someone had recorded it. I need to know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because something happened enough to make all these people get up in arms about it. But I also just can't tell, that thing that happens where like one person gets upset about something that has to do with race and everyone just decides to fall on that side because you'd rather fall on the side of the person who was offended about racism than the person who was racist?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
And I'm
not saying that's what this is, but I'm just wondering because I wasn't there.
No, I get it, because I also think too, and this may be kind of controversial.
Always.
You cannot be offended for another group of people. Like if I'm telling you as a black person that what she said, let's just say that this is what she said and nothing else was added to the pie, right? If this is what she said, as a black person, I am not offended. So you as a white person can't come up to me and be like, how are you not offended by this? Because I'm not.
But
you
that's
don't
what
live in this
happens all the
skin.
time.
Because people hijack outrage, selective outrage for their own agenda. It's just like we as black people have said for years, leave us alone and give us our money, reparations, right? And white people are just like, they want school lunches and they want Ferraris. That's not what we said we wanted. We said very clear two things. Well, you know what? They need Maya Angelou on a quarter. They need Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill.
We just want to not be killed in drugs.
We just want to not be killed in the streets unarmed. We want to be treated like regular, normal people.
Reparations.
And leave us alone. Give us our money and leave us alone. That's it. They need Juneteenth as a holiday, national federal holiday, that most of the black people are not even federal employees.
I won't be mad about that one. But again,
You don't even have it off.
I don't have it.
I do.
could now. Oh, you definitely do.
I do. I had it on my last job too. It was great.
Great. Awesome.
But that's not what I asked for.
Yeah, so...
But I know a black person did.
That's the drama in the OT community currently. I know everyone's just on the edge.
What
of
a way
this.
to end OT month. I think that was amazing.
With a bang.
With a bang.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's why I don't go to these damn conferences anymore.
Oh, you won't ever get my money going to a APTA conference. Fuck that shit. Hell no. I'm not doing that. I don't care. I'm mad I'm in this profession. I want my money back.
I'm not mad I'm in this profession.
I am. I want my money back.
I just like...
I was duped.
Those like panels like that frustrate me because I feel like it's all lip service. Like,
yes.
Very, very seldom do actions make it out of those things. And I think we can all sit around and talk about how beautiful it would be to, like, you know, I don't know. You just have to make it, I don't want to say easier. You don't have to make it easier for people of color to get into school, but make it actually attainable. Like, show them...
Make it even.
Make it even. Let them know that the profession exists. Make it easier for them to get access and resources to these things. And, not, you know, show them people exist that do this job that look like them.
Get rid of the... I think part of the problem, too, is that so many schools have quotas.
Yeah.
And we can only accept so many this kind of person or this kind of person because we have a quota to meet. Versus, when you're applying for college, there should never be a box to select that says, what is your race? Why the fuck do we care? Are you here to learn, and do you got the money to pay for it? Why do we care what you look like?
See, but then that's not fair, because what if you, like, okay.
Not do you have the money? Do you got the grades?
But,
you know what I mean?
okay, so, like, in terms of college, if you have educated parents that went to college, they know how to play the college system. So they know the classes you need to take and the things you need to do and the way to word things. And if you didn't have that, that's super shitty because you're just kind of, like, freeballing it out there.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Get rid of these systems that create stuff like this.
Yeah.
If a child applies to college, there should be an automatic acceptance into that college. Even kids whose parents have never gone to college, who don't have money, because nobody has money to go to college, let's be clear. But even if they apply, they got a 2.0, but they've been consistent. They got a 3.5, they've been consistent.
But they got a heart of gold.
But, right, but I'm saying, like, the fact that we have systems in place that continue to divide when everybody, at the end of the day, it's all about the green. Can you pay? Whether it's a scholarship or whether it's regular money, can you pay for the education? The answer is no, for most of us, however. But I'm just saying, there should not be separate systems in place that are continuing to be divisive to further perpetuate this narrative of discrimination against people. Because I know for me, that I know there's plenty of people out there, plenty of black children out there who do not have the grades. Well, why don't they have the grades? It's not because they're not smart. They don't have, like you said, they don't have the resources. Their parents are working 3 and 4 jobs. They're working 2 and 3 jobs as a high schooler, taking care of their siblings and stuff like that. So of course it's going to be more difficult for them to attain the grades of 100%. If you don't have no responsibility, you should have straight A's.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But for other students, like, take all of these things out and give people a fair chance and a fair shot.
Hunger Games it.
Okay, that's not fair.
Every man for himself.
Only if you volunteer as tribute.
Only the strong survive.
That's not, no.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't have survived.
No, but that's on me.
That wouldn't have been fair.
I would have been in, like, a para Hunger Games, like my lungs, you know.
There is no such thing.
There would be in my.
Can you imagine that the horror? Please don't ever come out with that movie. A pair of Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's
but
that on that.
If y'all have more context to add as OTs, please let us know in the comments,
context.
so that way we can make a part 2 to this conversation, because I think that's a very good conversation to have. I mean, APTA. I don't pay attention to APTA, so I don't know what's going on over there.
Oh darn.
Nah.
Drat.
I've never been a member. Don't ever want to be.
Well.
There are no perks.
They won't stick up for you if anything happens.
No, absolutely
Which
not.
to me, again, I'm like, I wouldn't. I like that is.
Why am I paying $400 a year for that? What perks am I getting other than a cup and a T-shirt?
Do you get a cup and a T-shirt?
No, I don't even know because I'm not a member.
I don't know. I
I'm
went to
just putting it in
one
there.
conference and it was just not what I was expecting.
I'm not gonna waste my money going to a conference to learn anything else that I don't already know. If you're not help, I don't listen. No, the answer is no. The door is closed. I'm not wasting money on conferences. What do conferences teach you? Nothing.
Nothing. You can network, but I don't talk to anybody, so it doesn't really work.
I don't want to network with a PT. I'm over this profession.
I'll show them how to network.
I'm over this profession. I'm over it. It hasn't been good to me. It has, actually. My patients have been amazing. Absolutely. It really has. I just don't want to be the base anymore. Already.
We're
Anyway.
tired. Motherfuckers are fucking tired.
Exactly. They already cutting reimbursement rates, and it's ridiculous. So yeah, no. Mm-mm. The medical field at large is just trash. Job security is the only benefit.
I know. I keep watching all these things about like Meta cutting another 10,000 employees. I'm like, thank God the hospital will always be busy.
Yeah, hospitals can afford it. Now they may cut administration, which they should, but as far as bodies on the floor, you can't afford to cut bodies on the floor. You can't. But you know,
I'm stuck here in this hellhole.
well, that is healthcare. Welcome. Anyway, anything else you can talk about before we get out of here?
No, that's it. It's May, which means it's our birthdays coming up.
Taurus
baby.
season. Oh yeah. Woohoo.
So yeah, what an exciting time for all of you to be with us as we turn another year older,
Younger.
stronger, wiser.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, y'all have an amazing week on purpose. It's gonna be an amazing week because we are entering Taurus season. That's it. There's nothing else.
Everyone's
So
gonna slow down, indulge. That's Taurus season.
absolutely. And we're still gonna be stubborn.
Homebodies.
Yeah. Oh, but Gemini. You're a Gemini.
And then we're gonna pump it back up with Geminis.
Well, y'all gonna go back and forth because y'all don't know what y'all ever want to be. But anyway, neither here nor there. Y'all have an amazing week on purpose. Y'all remember to spread love.
Spread light.
And don't forget to
Laugh your face off.
That'll make a good picture.
I had to pee. And I had to get out of here. Ooh, it's only 8:17.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Now I have time to edit and I can be in the bed by 10. Woohoo!
I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee.
You have a UTI or something?
No.
Or you just drink a lot of water?
I finally drank water today.
Don't be very
I'm
careful.
not touching
Thank you.
anything.
Be careful with your feet. Thank you.
Remember that one time?
At band camp? That song sounds like Mentos Fresher. Mentos.